Okay, you've had the chance to be in the cabinet, no? So I presume in the decision-making process, you've had a good, close look. The perception of a lot of people is the president makes mistakes because her advisors give her wrong advice. Ngayon, why are you not blaming her advisors? Why are you blaming her?
Well, some people say that a president is only as good as her advisors. That is assuming that she has no brain of her own or that she is completely incompetent. I would say that if a president is a good president, he would at least have the ability to choose good advisors. And that is an essential requisite of a good president, to surround himself or herself with good advisors.
Okay. Today, the cabinet had a meeting in Malacanang. They spent the whole meeting on the issue of graft and corruption. Apparently, the administration feels that something has to be done. This is part of what you raised as a valid issue. Now, well, I don't want to call them propagandists, but friends of the administration say that there is corruption, but it is not at the top. It is at the bottom. Response, please.
I don't agree with that. I think that is palabas. I think this is public knowledge, that graft and corruption is one of the greatest failures of this administration. This administration, and I was present when Cory Aquino made that promise to the people that aalisin daw lamang niya, aalisin daw kapag siya inihalal ng bayan, hindi lamang ang gambling casinos, titigil daw niya ang graft and corruption. But many people believe that the graft and corruption during the first 2 years of this Aquino administration matches the last years of the past regime.
When you were in the cabinet, we're going to talk insurgency in a few minutes. When you were in the cabinet, were you aware of any counter-insurgency program being implemented by the administration?
None, and that's the reason I resigned as Foreign Secretary. I wanted an all-out, comprehensive anti-insurgency policy, and I was fighting for that. And when President Aquino ignored my importunings to have such policy, I resigned. That was after visiting all the military camps. And a good example of that is Quezon. And the best evidence, or Exhibit A of that, of how bad the peace and order situation is, and is Governor, one of your guests tonight, Governor Eddie Rodriguez, who was kidnapped at the height of the campaign. So at the time when I was about to proclaim he was not there, so much so that I asked for a postponement of the elections in Quezon.
So you've mentioned that there's no counterinsurgency program in the administration.
None.
In your incumbency as Foreign Secretary, there was no foreign policy?
In my opinion, there was no direction. Not from Malacanang.
Well, at least in one area, the administration claims they've succeeded, the economic recovery. There is an economic boom. They're on their way to improving.
I don't think there is economic recovery yet. I disagree with that.
Do you agree that steps have been taken to improve the economic picture?
Well, there have been steps taken, but it's not going into a definite direction. That is one of my, that was one of the things I mentioned in the letter.
Okay. Would you like to say a parting word?
Well, I'd like to just address a very brief appeal to our people, ang mga minamahal nating kababayan, lalo-lalo na yung mga nakikinig dyan sa kanilang mga bahay. Hindi ko na isasali yung mga nasa katungkulan, lalo na yung matataas ang katungkulan. At hindi ko din isasali yung mga nakikinabang sa administrasyon, itong current administration. Ang gusto ko sanang gawin ngayong gabi ay magtanong lamang ng tatlong tanong. Are you better off now than you were 30 months ago, before this administration took over? Second, do you feel safer now in your homes and in the streets than you felt 30 months ago? And third, do you feel that there is less graft and corruption now than there was during the last years of the previous regime? While your answer to these questions will decide whether my resignation was justified or not. While there is no, in my opinion, a response to the promises that have not been fulfilled by President Aquino. President Aquino behaves like an innocent bystander, hoping that the problems will simply solve themselves. I think it is time now to separate those who believe that the present or current administration is doing a wonderful job. They should join forces, fine. They should support President Aquino. But all those who believe that she is not doing a good job, that she is making a mess out of the present situation, should also join forces.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice President.